All right, so on this week's episode, we're talking about insuring your summertime toys. So we went down a couple of rabbit holes that gained a little bit of insight, but overall, the entire episode, really good information about why it is you should insure toys like boats, side-by-sides, campers, RVs, golf carts, anything that you use. We mostly focused on the summertime stuff, but there's a ton of good information in this podcast, and there's some pretty interesting trivia. So make sure that you guys stick around and enjoy it. Thank you. Welcome to the Close to Home podcast. Real people, real life, real stories. Insight and inspiration from close to home brings a fresh perspective on home, business, and life. Join the professionals across real estate, construction, insurance, and financial lending to gain perspective not only from their individual professional experience, but also from their life stories.
Greetings, everyone. How are you today?
What's going on, Jimbo?
Well, the world's a better place.
It is.
Dan, you might know this. I'm not sure, but sometimes these are pre-recorded.
Are they?
So let's tell everybody why the world's a better place. What happened to Dan?
Dan welcomed baby number 2.
Yeah.
Last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're
A
excited.
little baby.
Little baby girl, Sienna Joe.
Aw.
Sienna Joe.
She's cute as a button, just like her dad.
All right. How long is Sienna?
She was 19 inches, 6 pounds, 2 ounces.
Whoa.
Adorable.
Good job, Dad.
Yeah, it was great. I did fantastic. Mom did pretty good too.
So
For
that
Ariel.
is the backbone of everything, and that's what hits close to home today, right?
That's why we were doing this.
And all you good people out there that are having babies, that's our future, and we're pumped about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very blessed.
And speaking of Dan, our sponsor for the podcast today is Dan Stokes with Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions. If you are interested in learning more about what Dan does or buying or selling land or a home, you can reach him at 314-971-0654 or at dan@meyerlistings.com.
So today's topic, why should you insure your summer toys? It's all going to be, the spotlight's going to be on Jaclyn. So
We're going to have some fun conversations.
yeah, we are.
today.
I know we got some summertime toys that are insured with you.
Yes.
So what's the scoop? Kind of run us through some of this stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of times when I'm chatting with people, they ask, they're like, well, hey, I don't have a loan on this because I'm going through asking, do you have any golf carts or boats or ATVs, RVs, anything like that? And they're like, oh, well, there's no loan on it. I don't really need to insure it. I'm like, whoa, hold up. There's reasons why there's insurance options out there. And I mean, again, everybody has to assess their risk. There are some people that want to self-insure. But really when you think of a toy that can be insured, it probably should be just for the mere sake of people getting hurt, right?
I was sitting here looking at Ashley and looking at this list. I know that you've got a side-by-side I've got a side-by-side that you're insuring.
And my husband's side-by-side is insured through her as
Yeah,
well.
I was going to say, like, her husband's got to go fast when I got the old man work version. But, yeah, Pat definitely needs insurance.
Yeah. I mean, that's the fun of some of these things, right? Go out and just tear stuff up or get out on the water and just go and, be free. Anyway, obviously for liability purposes, especially if you're purchasing some of these higher end type of toys, obviously you have assets to protect. And unfortunately accidents happen. So you need to make sure that even if you don't care so much about the asset itself, that you at least have liability so that if you do damage to some property or you end up hurting somebody, that you're covered and you're not personally going to get sued. And then that can create a whole nother ordeal.
I'll pull the man card. What toys do you have, Dan, that you don't want to? We got to have these things covered. This is important stuff.
Yeah. So Jaclyn had the policy whenever I had my boat, which I missed dearly. And I was actually talking to Patrick the other day. I was like, man, I sold that thing. That was great. And now I'm like, damn, I wish I had that thing back. I want a different one now. So I'm sure at some point in time we'll have another policy on it, but side by side, stuff like that,
Ashley, what are your favorite toys?
So we have a 4-seater side-by-side that will probably do 60, 65 miles per hour.
It'll do like 70 because
Yeah.
70 or 75
Well,
because mine will do
depends
like
on the
60
driver,
or 65.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
They'll scream.
they are for all, they are basically vehicles, and people drive them on the road, and they don't even think about the instances where they could have a car accident in them, or like you mentioned, it's not just the vehicle itself at that point. It's that you have a neighbor in your side by side or ATV with you, and they get a broken arm because you guys flip it.
Yep.
On a Saturday night.
Yep.
At 10 o'clock
Yeah.
after a couple cocktails.
Oh, jeez. This sounds like it happened.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
You can't say cocktails. We got Jaclyn in the room here.
Well, I didn't do it. Don't look at me.
Wait, what if the guy with the broken arm was the one who had the cocktails? We okay?
Wait, who was driving? I don't want to know.
Not me.
It was other people.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's those are for real situations, and I know.
Where do you see the biggest accidents typically? Like the most risk amongst these
Boats.
Yeah.
Boats, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's
You know what,
some,
though? I that makes a lot of sense. Go to a boat ramp on like a Saturday afternoon and watch all the freaking people who can't back up a truck and trailer, much less drive a freaking boat that doesn't have brakes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's entertaining. You could take a barbecue pit and a cooler full of beer and have somebody else drive you there and back.
Yeah. And boats are, boats just probably have some of the greatest risk.
Yeah.
It's not just in the water, I bet. I bet it's transporting them and different things like that, too.
In terms of the liability or the personal injury, that it is in the water.
Oh, there's no such thing as a ding anymore. It's...
Well, right. And I mean, what's the average cost of a boat? Like, you can really deck out a fishing boat. I mean, and especially if you live on the coast or something. I mean, hell, it's easy to spend $500,000 on a boat.
Easily, yeah.
And you get in a fender bender with another $500,000 freaking boat, and people go flying out in the water. I mean, Lake of the Ozarks, it's
there was a really bad accident, that I heard about.
All the freaking time. And I'm not perfect, but unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of people don't wear their life jackets all the time.
Here's the thing. I'm kind of Mr. Safety out there. Make sure you got your gear on. Make sure you got your life vest, whatever else it is. Right.
They got some really
it's
neat
the law,
ones that
but
pop a cartridge. And
really though, it's a law to have it on the boat. You don't even have to wear it if you're over a certain age.
I think it's like 14 or something. I don't quote me on that, but I think it's like 14. You don't have to have it on. You have to have it on the vessel. You got to have like a throwable fire extinguisher.
But here's the thing. What I'm saying is, even though you're as safe as you can be,
accidents
stuff's going to
still
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or stuff. Stuff is going to happen. It's inevitable. But the same thing happens. You hear people, they're walking in their house and slip down the steps because Ashley tried to tell them what to put on the steps. You wanted hardwood steps.
Right.
Right.
It happens.
Yep. It is very true.
So cost comparison wise, it was very interesting for me to learn when we did get our side by side that it's really not unreasonable. So just don't avoid it because you're concerned about the cost.
Right. If you're putting
Yeah.
that kind of money out there, like, you can afford what
Right.
the insurance is.
Right.
And a lot of it depends on kind of like our vehicles. So you have to think what insurance is based off of. So risk, right? So if you've got, again, if we're just talking liability without the property damage, so take the cost of the toy out of the equation. But if it goes faster, if the CCs are higher on like an ATV or something like that, like, that's going to be higher risk. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. Same with a boat. Like, if you've got a boat that can go a lot faster, that's going to be not just the cost of the asset itself, but the liability for something like that.
So
if-
the more horsepower,
that's right.
We're talking risk here, aren't we?
yeah.
So Jaclyn, if I want to buy a toy, is it prudent for me to call you ahead of time, or do I have to have specifics? Yeah, okay, I'm going to buy a pair of jet skis, and then or they still call them jet skis, and then I'm going to buy a, I don't know, I need a couple 4-wheelers.
I want to go shopping with Jim.
So yeah, I mean, there are numerous people that call me and say, "Hey, I'm looking to buy this." I mean, really, there's some things that I need, and I mean, are you looking at if it's a 4-wheeler, like, what are we, what exactly are we looking at? I am going to
So
need
it
to
should
know.
be part of the expense is the thing, I guess. And so whether I'm paying cash or not,
Correct.
I still want to protect these assets.
Yeah.
And so, and we do that with homes too, it's call and check, find out the location you're going to be in and roughly what it's going to be for
Right.
the age of your house or what have you. So this is,
I mean, in my opinion, with toys, I think I called Jaclyn before I buy a car or a boat or a side-by-side or whatever it is I buy. But in all honesty, like, I called her and she's like, "Oh, well, here's the rough cost." And I'm like, "Okay. Is that for 6 months?" She says, "No, it's for a year."
It's a
So
year.
it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's really not that much.
no, it's not.
When you're going to go spend whatever you're going to spend on a toy or boat or RV or what, like, so a side-by-side's $30,000, whatever. Like, who cares about a couple $100 a year for insurance?
we could have bought like 5 of my first cars for what he paid for that side by side.
Dude, nothing is freaking cheap.
Nothing.
We're inflation's another day.
We've
Yeah.
we've
We've
gone
covered
through
it.
that.
We'll do it again,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure
yeah, we're all-
we'll
none of
chat
us are
about it
very happy.
again. But interesting also is so I do have some clients that have like camping property or second homes or things like that. Another thing to consider, I actually had a client that was not interested in insuring one of their toys. And, after trying to talk them into it, you just kind of are like, well, if you don't feel that it's a value, fine. Well, then come to find out they actually needed it for the association that they're a part of at their lake campfront. So sometimes that is another reason that will push people over the edge.
Read your HOA. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, again, I get it. If you've got a tiny little John boat, you don't care about the asset itself. It really can't do a whole lot of damage, but
Yeah, if you got a $300 John boat with a 9.9 hanging on the back of it, whatever.
It
You're gonna
fishes
use it
just
on a
fine for
farm
me.
Pond, right?
but in order
Right,
to pick
but I
up
mean-
your stickers from the association, they may require you to insure
sure,
that. So
yeah.
again, just
Get it.
be
Totally get
cautious. Understand that everybody has rules, and it's it's for your protection as much as it is for theirs. So just
So what if somebody gets hurt in the John boat we didn't insure? Is that part of the coverage that
I mean, if
could
there's
have been?
yeah, absolutely.
If it's on public water, like a public waterway, but if it's on like a private lake or something, that
then that would fall under whomever owns that.
the governing body possibly, or the landowner.
One of the
Right.
things that she taught us, and it sticks in our head, is the attractive nuisance thing. And so, and I know that as a kid, if we saw a John boat sitting on the side of a lake or whatever, that's a done deal.
Right.
Right.
We're going to go to the market here and be right back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anytime you see water on somebody's property, like, that's a right away conversation of, we're talking liability. Like, we're going to have, for that owner of the property, we're definitely going to have some very serious conversation about why they need to hold at least $500,000 or $1 million or an umbrella or something like that. Just again, because it's crap happens, and
I'm glad you crammed that umbrella down my throat.
Yeah, I mean, she recommended one to me too, and I mean,
He said recommended. I honestly asked about it. She said that's a very good idea, and I said, well, let's grab that. You know, it's important.
yeah.
A lot of people don't know this.
and they're not expensive either.
No.
Like for a
No.
for a lot of coverage, for that amount of coverage, I mean, even $1 million in medical expenses, that's really not a whole lot. You know what I mean? It's enough
Can go through
probably,
it
but you can
pretty
burn
quickly.
through that
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, it's
Hopefully you never
amazing.
have to use it, but I mean, why wouldn't you?
Right.
In addition to, everything that you're covering already. I mean, this is
Well, and it's not, I mean, you have
It's
to
not
think
that
about it.
expensive
When something big happens, people don't just stop at like, I had to go to the emergency room and I had all of these medical procedures or whatever the fact is. Like their lawyers taking it to the next level.
Right. They just see dollar signs. They look at an insurance company and they're like, everything that 123 Insurance, whatever, call it Nationwide, everything that Nationwide has, I want. That's what attorneys see that. So they're going after everything they can.
Well, and again, I mean, part of liability is that they have to be able to prove your negligence. So again, if something happened where you didn't take proper precaution or just, again, it happened because life happens, accidents happen. I mean, you just want to make sure that it's not you having to pay out, that, it's the insurance company that you've been paying that pays out.
bad things can happen to good people
Absolutely.
and vice versa.
That stuff
you know.
happens. It just is what it is.
Okay.
So, another thing, so wanted to, so this actually just came up the other day, so I thought it'd be cool to chat about. In St. Louis, and probably in a lot of city areas or metro areas, obviously you've got a lot of your sports teams and different things like that. The weather's nicer now. I had a client who is actually starting to do golf cart cabbing, like in the city.
Are they in St. Louis?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's not the same person I'm thinking of in Cottleville, but
No, but
so yeah, I was kind of wondering about that since golf and
Yeah.
everything else, but a lot of municipalities around here are allowing golf carts now to ride around on the
roads.
sidewalk,
Yes.
sidewalk or road, whatever. I mean, yeah,
Right.
I don't know what happened, but my subdivision is just loaded with them. Everybody's got one. And of course, since everybody's got a golf cart, I think I need one of those. I mean, I would rather get a UTV.
So my mom and stepdad live in a golf course community.
Right.
And I mean, his golf cart will go faster than Patrick's side by side.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they shut it down. They took it to Key West, and he was running like 82 miles an hour across
my.
that bridge, and he still had pedal left.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's sick. It's insane. But now that he's got they got grandkids now, so he throttled it way back, turned everything way down. I mean, it'll probably still do like 45 or 50 miles an hour.
Gas or electric?
Oh no, it's gas.
Okay.
It's got like a Harley motor, or like take a Chevy big block, cut 2 cylinders off it, and that's what they stuck in the golf cart. Like it's a big motor
Oh my goodness.
for a 2-cylinder. Like you can fit your hand. The piston's like the size of my fist.
Wow.
It's a big motor.
Yeah.
So
that might be a little bit more expensive to insure.
right, yeah. But I was kind of thinking about that. So these golf carts, you see these kids driving them around. They're like 11, 12 years old in subdivisions and stuff. I mean, is that kosher?
Don't get me started. I mean, I don't know how many of them have made a left turn in front of me,
Right.
just going to the pool or wherever they're going.
And it's not like they're
Technically, they're supposed to be licensed drivers.
yeah. And I mean, I get it. Like we were all kids. I mean,
I don't know if I was ever one.
still are.
Yeah. I didn't want to be the one to say it.
I still are a kid sometimes, but
But they're growing huge
but
in population. And
Right.
I mean, it seems like a lot of subdivisions now, especially your really large interconnected subdivisions and communities and things like that. Yeah, I mean they're popping up everywhere, and this is as they are being allowed to be street legal in some places or even on sidewalks. I mean, I've been talking about this, I feel like at least for 3 years, like at least.
Now, do they have to have like an orange triangle in the back, like a side-by-side does, or like a horse and buggy or whatever? Like, no.
I don't think so, but
And
I
a
don't.
beard.
And a beard, yeah. And the hat.
I know there's some like if it's over a certain speed, I believe you have to plate it, but if
Okay.
it's under, you don't. Or just horsepower.
It's a CC. I think it's
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So there's
like scooters, like under certain like
Right.
those little mopeds,
Yep.
stuff like that. But
So, I mean, yeah, I see these kids driving around, and a lot of adults have a hard time driving. Like,
Because they've had too many cocktails.
no.
they're
Some of them
just
don't
ter-
even
they're
need
just
it.
terrible drivers.
rather
Like,
than
you
drive
can't.
better with cocktails.
Yeah. I was joking the other day with somebody in my office, and I probably shouldn't say this on a podcast, but I'm going to. So there was a stat. It was a joke that I heard, but there's a stat that 10% of vehicle accidents are caused by drunk drivers or something like that, which means that 90% are caused by sober people. We need to get these sober people off our roads.
Right.
But no, adults have a hard time driving, and then they're teaching these kids to just drive wherever the heck it is they want on these golf carts. They're going to cause a wreck.
What about the texting?
Dude.
I mean, at least the drunk driver's manning the vehicle. when you're texting, nobody's manning the vehicle.
Well, haven't you seen those new commercials of the hands-free and your car just drives over the bridge? And
I have one. I don't trust that for
I know.
For
I
either-
know, I
for
do
sure.
not.
No way, Jose.
No.
So do you-
If you go around a bend that's over a certain amount, your car will not turn unless you have the full auto drive. So I have auto drive, and
We should go for a drive.
What do you mean? So, whoa. I'm intrigued by this. So, all right, so you're out west, you're driving around the mountains of Montana, Wyoming, Utah, wherever it is you're driving around these mountains. You're doing 40 miles an hour coming down the mountain, and your car just won't turn? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, if the turn is too sharp, the car will not stay its course
Meaning if you were hands-free.
if you're hands free.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So not if you're actually the one driving it.
Right. So it's if you're on the highway or something like that. I hate to say this, but you're probably fine. You could glance at your screen or a text. Not a long one, but a couple of words. But I
Don't do
would
that.
still
Let's
never
just-
do
let's
this.
just say no.
But it will hold your.
Supposed to hold your course. Yeah.
Yes.
I have too many
yes,
control
and
issues
all
to allow that.
Me too.
Oh yeah, I can tell we're in a room with a bunch of control freaks, and I am one. So
Can we just put a PSA out there, like don't text and drive?
Right.
Like just overall.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay.
no, nobody is manning the vehicle is no good.
Correct.
Is no good. Impaired is one thing, but you got a partial shot that you're not going to get.
Yeah, you got a 6,000 pound freaking wrecking ball doing 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. When you're texting, nobody's manning the vehicle. No one. And has anybody here been hit by a texter yet?
Oh, dude. So my old pickup, I had a lady park a BMW or Mercedes or something underneath it doing like 50 miles an hour. We were sitting in traffic on 270 and 141, and she comes up and I hear this. I look in the back and thunk.
Dunk.
Yeah, like it lifted the back end of my pickup off.
Oh my God.
She was going that fast. Like the trailer hitch was in her windshield. She was going that fast. The pumpkin, the rear end of my truck was like pushing on her radiator.
Oh. Wow.
So that's
Yeah.
the center of the axle for those of you who don't know what a pumpkin is.
Yeah,
But-
she was screaming, and I pulled off to the side of the road, and I'm like, "Was that text really worth it?" She's like, "I wasn't texting." I'm like, "There's no freaking way. Like, you're not just that dumb. You had to have been paying attention."
I don't know. Could you imagine having to pull your car out from underneath Dan's truck?
It's not even like it's not like it's a freaking monster truck or anything. It's just a pickup, and she had a smaller vehicle, a lower vehicle. I had to put it in 4-wheel drive because my tires were pretty much off the ground.
You know darn well she was texting. It's an easy.
Right.
There's no way you can't be going and then not.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've been hit by a texter. Is at a stop light,
Stoplight.
and nobody else on the road practically. I was like, "Are you serious?" I mean, it was quite the thump.
Yeah.
And it did some damage and whatnot, but I didn't say anything. I figured if she probably learned her lesson, and I hope, because it might not turn out so well,
Right.
the next time.
Right. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
And what if that person had a kid in the freaking car?
I always think about that, I think about that pre-road rage too. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe somebody's having a bad day. Something's going on. One of the kids is in the back pulling on Dan's beard, whatever.
How does logistically, how's that work?
Oh,
They're
who
both in
knows?
rear-facing seats, so they.
So
But yeah, so again, just popularity of these, back to it, the golf carts and everything, there is, they're also very easy to steal. So just if you care about the amount of money that you have sunk into all the customizations or whatever may have been done, just
I don't think they have custom keys. Like you can start one with a screwdriver, pretty much.
Pretty much.
yeah, they're very, very easy to steal. So, again, if you're buying these toys, if you've got the extra, money to enjoy them, they're not expensive to insure. Do yourself a favor and just make sure that that you've got that covered correctly. So, just having overall peace of mind and, again, if you're concerned about anything, just having a conversation with your insurance agent would be the place to start. So,
And if they have questions for you, you do insure outside of Missouri as well.
Missouri, yes.
Okay.
Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, and Texas.
Perfect.
So, but yeah, absolutely.
Good deal. Well,
So are we wrapping up, or does
I'm afraid
Jim
to go
have-
down another rabbit
Does
hole.
Jim have a trivia for today?
We have a trivia for today.
we do. What is
We
it?
do. All right. Who are we picking on today? Dun-dun-dun. We are picking on Ashley.
Oh, no.
Ashley, what is hotter,
Oh, gosh.
Dan.
the sun or a lightning bolt?
Lightning bolt?
Yes. Yes, that's true. And why?
The electricity from the something?
This shocked me because when you think of the sun and its temperature,
Right. I had figured it had to be like a trick kind of.
yeah,
question.
it is. I mean, most people would pick the sun. Obviously, the sun's about 10,000 degrees,
Fahrenheit?
right? Fahrenheit, and the lightning bolt can be as much as 50,000 degrees. Now, you hear about people who've been struck by lightning. How do they, survive that? Why aren't they a piece of toast? I mean, you've seen it hit trees before and split them and drop them. And
My guess would be is because it's a very
Instantaneous.
short-lived burst.
it had to have conducted through them. I do know some people who've been struck by lightning, and I
kidding. Are
I
they
actually
still
know someone who was struck. This is grotesquely
Twice,
scary.
right?
No, in their bed.
Oh.
What?
Only once. But it actually entered their body and exited their toe and actually blew out the toe.
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
Typically,
shitting
that's
me?
what happens.
It had to be
Oh, my gosh.
put back
I'd
together.
move.
Yeah. Well,
I'd move. Instantly.
so
Bye.
this frightened me enough that I'm like calling the propane company. Hey, can you move this further away from my house? I mean, seriously, it really, shocked me. But had to get their had to get their toe sewed back up. But I was like, well, I mean, how do you get to sleep after that?
You move.
Every time there's thunder, it's like, I'm going to go sleep in the basement.
Right, no kidding.
So your dogs aren't so crazy after all.
All right.
Right.
I'm going down another rabbit hole, but that was our shocker trivia for the day.
That was a good one.
5 times as hot as the sun.
I'll be darned. Huh.
Very cool.
Well, for all things golf cart, RV, camper, side-by-side, should I say boats, bass boats.
All the toys.
All the summer
RVs,
toys.
yeah, campers, all the stuff. Give Jaclyn a call.
And in what states? One more time.
Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, and Texas.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, gang, that was a pretty informative. I liked it.
So it was interesting. We did go down a couple rabbit holes, but very, very nice. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
See you next week.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.